Pickle, let's go to the hotline. It's a big day across the Texas high school football world as we are the UIL is allowing teams to start summer strength and conditioning workouts. Obviously in a different world, but football is back, at least in some part, in the state of Texas. And here to talk about it is the head coach of the Grapevine Mustangs, who just finished up his own workout. It's the head coach, Mike Alexander. Coach, how are you?
I'm great. We had about 200 athletes up here this morning.
Wow.
Already got them finished up, and so we're counting our blessings. We're blessed to have this opportunity for sure.
Coach, I want to ask, you're a guy who's you've been around the block a little bit. You've coached a couple of practices before.
Yes, sir.
And I know that coaches are creatures of habit. For you, obviously there are different. You had different protocols in place. How strange was this for you today?
Once you get to working out's working out, and getting around your kids. The hardest thing for me personally was just not being able to, just feel comfortable going up and putting my arms around our guys and giving them a big hug. My guys know that I'm that kind of guy. Like I'm a hugger. I love my players, and I hadn't seen a lot of them except on a computer screen for 3 months. So that was the hardest thing, just not being able to go up and squeeze their necks and tell them to love them. And, in that way, we had to, come into the facility, maintain some distance. But once we got rolling, we were just kind of back in our groove, and it was good getting them back all in one place.
Yeah, Matt Stepp said something the other week to me that stuck with me. He goes, kids need coaches, but he made the comment. He's like, you don't realize until you talk with coaches how much coaches need kids too. And so was today one of those good moments for you like that?
Oh, Greg, I couldn't sleep last night. It felt like. It felt like 2-a-days, starting up. I mean, it was exciting. I mean, you think about it, it's been 3 months, because our kids, they left before spring break, and that was 3 months ago to the day, pretty much. And so that's a long time to go without having, that contact with a loved one. And, it's tough on coaches. I mean, we get in this business, for a lot of reasons, but none more important than just having that relationship with a young person and being able to pour into them. And, like in anything, when you give to somebody, you get back more than you're given. And you miss some of that stuff, when you're having to do virtual meetings. And so it was great to get to be with our guys. And, I'm really, really thankful for the UIL and our governors and our superintendents for trusting us as high school coaches to, be at the forefront of kicking this whole reopening off.
Coach, I want to know a little bit about the process of coming up with your protocols. Obviously, the UIL lays out some guidelines and say, we need you to do this, we need you to do this. And then they kind of toss that ball over to you and say, all right, figure it out. Can you take us a little bit through the process of you guys coming up with your protocols?
Yes, sir. It all stems for us that where we started was as far as, take the football piece out of it and just look at summer strength and conditioning. And, because we were told your weight rooms have to stay at 25% capacity. Well, I know that some people around the state decided to do a lifting program outside the weight room and just do a lot of body weight stuff out on the fields and whatever. But we wanted to get our guys back into the weight room. So we're blessed in Grapevine. We have a 7,200 square foot weight room. We have 28, platforms. And so we have a really big space. And then we have an auxiliary weight room that's got 24 racks, and it's, about the same square footage. So it all started for us where we looked at the capacity for our weight rooms. And so we decided we could lift 45 guys at one time in the facility and not be over capacity. And so that drove everything for, how we established how big our groups would be. And then for the summer strength conditioning. And then there's a whole separate piece when you get to the football skills part of it. And, and in that regard, if you're indoors, you can't have more than 10 players per one coach. If you're outside, you can't have more than 15 players for one coach. So we did all of our football skills outside. And it was challenging because we had to work out our varsity and JV at separate times because we have more than 15 JV and varsity linebackers and more than 15 receivers and all that stuff. So we had to put a little bit more on our coaches. Our coaches worked a little bit more and a little bit harder than they normally probably do during the summer, just to accommodate all those restrictions. But at the end of the day, man, we worked out 200 kids today in football and strength and conditioning, and it was a good day. We loved it.
We're talking with Mike Alexander, the head coach at Grapevine here on Texas Football Today. Get involved in the conversation, #TF Today. Coach, I in talking with coaches across the state, it's become really apparent to me that that the coaches get it, the coaches understand the importance of making sure we do this right, we do this safely, and things like that. Did you get the feeling just from the conversations you were having with your kids, and that the players in that same boat, that they understand the stakes that are at play here?
Well, we let off with that, Greg. That was the first thing before we did anything. We got our guys in the indoor facility, and we had them distanced pretty good. And I got on the microphone over the big PA system, and where I could just tell them, I just told them, guys, we're being trusted with something that's super important here. And I told them, if we screw this thing up, we might not have a start to the school year. Mm-hmm. And so I'm going to be on you about keeping good distance from your teammates. I'm going to be on you about wiping your guard down when you're finished with your bar. I mean, we're going to be intentional about this, and it's not because we're, for any other reason other than it's important that we don't screw it up, And so I think once we outlined it like that, they understood that they were a part of something bigger than themselves. They were a part of something that, we're the test balloon, if you will, for the rest of the state. So once we kind of got that established, it was pretty much smooth sailing after that.
And finally, Coach, I would be remiss if I didn't take the opportunity to ask you about your team and ask you about your Mustangs. This is a squad. You guys were a playoff team a year ago. You guys are now moving in and into a district that feels like you guys are going to be able certainly to be competitive in that district. I'm interested. You're coming off of a district championship year. Or you're coming off of a year where you guys had a strong showing. Do you feel like the expectation level has changed there at Grapevine?
I think, yeah. I mean, a number, it's just a number. But anytime you change your classification number, mm-hmm. the kids, it can be a shot of confidence, to the kids. And so with us dropping from 5A1 to 5A2. I think, for the kids anyway, they're fired up. They're excited. They see a great opportunity staring them in the face. And quite honestly, it wouldn't have mattered if we wouldn't have dropped the division. We have a much better team on the horizon than we even probably were able to put on the field last year in a lot of positions. And we played a lot of young guys last year, and we're really excited about the potential that this team has, and the opportunities that we have in front of us, and being able to get started on June 8th was huge for us because we didn't want to wait around until July to get rolling.
He's Mike Alexander. He's the head coach of the Grapevine Mustangs. Coach, really appreciate your time. Congratulations on just getting back on the field. I know that must feel good, and please stay safe and enjoy it, my friend.
I appreciate it, Greg. Thank you.
There he goes, Mike Alexander, the head coach of the Grapevine Mustangs.